Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of this business. It's an Amazon FBA and e-commerce business created in August of 2016 in the beauty niche. The average monthly revenue for the business is $144,931 and makes an average of $42,951 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are an Amazon Seller Central account with 95 SKUs, all e-commerce accounts, which are Shopify, Walmart, eBay, Bonanza, Wish, Newegg, Faire, and Etsy, social media accounts, which include Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, TikTok, Linktree, and Reddit, trademarks, an email list with about 19,300 subscribers, an iOS and Android app, CRM system, operational accounts, which are TaxJar and Helium 10, Amazon Associates account, product formulas, admin files, an SMS list with a little over 3,000 subscribers, primary domain, including all site content and files. And just as a disclaimer, inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to unlockers. So for everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 60823 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the seller with me today. So welcome to the show, Eran. How are you doing today?
Hi, Nick. Thanks for having me. Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. And I'm looking forward to learning more about you and your business. So to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Well, we come from a different background altogether. Three partners. It's me, my brother, and another one. We come from online gaming. We've been around some technology and marketing environment, even crypto. And this is our first experience with e-commerce. We always wanted to go into e-commerce. And when I moved to the US 6 years ago, it presented the chance. And that's how we basically started.
Wow, that's awesome. Going from online gaming to e-commerce. It's still in the online space, but those are two very different worlds. Very cool. All right. So you built this business in August of 2016. Why are you deciding to sell the business instead of keeping it and growing it?
I think that we realize our position and we have a strength in building new things from scratch. But the moment, if we look from the business perspective, we kind of cap the business. We're a small team that focused on marketing techniques and experiments, and we kind of lack distribution mechanisms and production mechanisms. We produce all of our inventory in the US. It's not easy, and we realize that a buyer might do a better job and a faster job and will help the brand grow wherever it should be.
Got it. Yeah, I've heard this a few times in different forms from sellers who say that the building phase of the business is different from the operating and the scaling phase. And yeah, I think those are two important distinctions to make. So yeah, it sounds like this is now in a new phase and it seems like it's in a natural position to move to somebody else. Okay. So during this journey of yours, what did you learn from building this business that just seemed to work?
Okay, so first of all, I think that we need to explain why we chose beauty in particular. First of all, beauty is a vertical with a lot of sub-niches. And what's beautiful about it is that there's an opportunity to choose products with frequent and repeating purchases. We think that it's very important because margins in the online e-commerce world are not always high. and you have to constantly invest in marketing or prepare to invest in marketing, especially if you're doing Amazon, which has become a pay-to-play platform, and you constantly need to up your ante in terms of marketing. So having customers that are repeating and frequently buying products will help you on the marketing angle. So that's probably why we chose the niche, why we're selling the business we discussed. We want to have it grow faster. I think that's it.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, that's very interesting to hear as far as why different business owners or how they choose their specific niches and products. Of course, some look at their margins that they could make, some look at their experience. And then you're saying that you were looking at a product or a niche that you can potentially sell on a repeated basis to the same customers. So that's very interesting to hear.
Yeah, where we come from, the online gaming, you look at player value. And here we thought we should look at customer value over lifetime.
Yeah.
And therefore, beauty is very important.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So was there anything you tried with this business that didn't work out so well?
Well, we tried several marketing things. We believe in an approach that you need to try everything that you can within reasonable resources. And if it works, you continue. If not, you don't. We had a taste of influencers and social media. It didn't work so much. We think that you need to be very much keep your eyes on the ball and invest a lot of resources and time and be dedicated to social media and to influencers in order to succeed there, or maybe have a unique gimmick product that will draw their attention and take them off whatever they're doing. Another thing that we tried is we were actually quite successful in selling in Europe about 3 years ago. However, we discovered that the economics of creating a product in the USA, and all of our products are made in the USA, it's a part of our theme. It's very hard to bring them to Europe and to sell them with the proper margins, especially given the VAT over there, which is 20%. I think for the future, we sold a few pallets over there worth of inventory, which was very good in a short time, but profit was none. So I think that it would be very interesting to explore production in Europe.
Yeah, you bring up some very important points here. So first, for the influencers, I think it's good to know that I can see why you would have gone the influencer route for these types of products. So it's good for a potential buyer to know if this is a marketing channel to go for or how much they need to invest in order to make this a viable channel. And I think expansion is a very natural progression plan for especially selling on Amazon when you have access to all of these different marketplaces. So it's good to know that if somebody wanted to expand to the European marketplace, that they would have to probably expand their actual manufacturing, capabilities or just the location in which they manufacture the product. Got it.
Well, as long as they manufacture in the US, that's probably correct, yes.
Yes, that is a very strong selling point as well when you're manufacturing all of your products in the US, especially with the supply chain issues that a lot of e-commerce sellers are experiencing right now with just getting their products shipped from overseas into Amazon fulfillment centers. So that's also a very strong point.
Yes, I have to say that, okay, so I'm in contact with a lot of other Amazon sellers and brands, and the stories that I hear about the supply chains, about stuff coming from China, they need to wait for 3, 4, sometimes 5 months, the cost that's more than double. And we pretty much didn't feel so much of any of that during last year. In fact, our production capabilities even improved. So obviously we pay more to produce a product than someone that will produce in China, but that someone that produces in China is exposed to so many risks, especially at this time. I'm not even sure it's worth the headache.
Yeah, it's a good point to the fluctuation in the COGS that a lot of sellers are seeing just based upon the increase in shipping cost. Even if your product is more expensive to manufacture, that you're not going to see those same fluctuations. And I'm not sure what the costs of your products are, but it might end up being less costly just given how volatile pricing is right now.
It's definitely the case. in the past, it wasn't probably.
Got it. Okay. Well, I feel like we could talk about this for a long time, but I'll get on to the next question. So I know this business is very omni-channel. You're driving revenue through several channels. So how is traffic generated? Can you talk about that for a little bit?
I think that all of our channels enjoy a combination of paid traffic and organic traffic. So if we look on Amazon, it's very clear, simple, and everyone understands it. Amazon has become a pay to play. You need to pay. You have all sorts of ads options over there. They come out with something new almost every week. You need to run a lot of experiments and testing, see if it works for you. And obviously, your listing needs to be good enough, include all the keywords, go through periodic extensive research in order to keep it alive and relevant. It's the same thing with other channels. Wherever we can advertise, we advertise, and our background includes a lot of SEO. So we have plenty of organic traffic coming to our website, and that grows with time. From marketing perspective, it's a huge benefit to have SEO because the traffic is free, the traffic keeps growing, the traffic nurtures itself, and it's wonderful. And would also say that we keep our eye on the ball when it comes to advertising strategies of new channels. Recently, Walmart did a lot of changes in their advertising model, and being small, it allows us to do changes like one day after they make an announcement and probably beat competition.
Nice. Yeah, and you bring up a good point about one of the risks of selling on Amazon or probably with any online business is the advertising costs. So that ad costs can increase according to however high the company wants to start charging advertising costs, which could make ads unprofitable in the long run. So, yes, to be generating a certain portion organically is definitely a benefit here.
Yeah, so we use a bunch of other websites to throw traffic into our website. And obviously, we have a blog and a lot of features that constantly get updated. And if we look to your previous questions about influencers, it doesn't have to work in order to enjoy the benefits in terms of SEO. And what you end up doing with it is you create your email list, which is very, very important. We have over 19, approaching 20,000 email subscribers, and obviously we monetize this list by sending them constant promotions and email flows in order to increase their lifetime value. We have the same with an SMS list that is more responsive even, almost 4,000 accounts that receive SMS from us, and thus it helps us with so many things basically, not only with the revenue, but also moving specific inventory that we want to move or launching new products. It helps in so many ways.
Got it. Yeah, that's an important point that you bring up that you have an email list and it's an active email list and SMS list, especially if you're reliant on Amazon. Not every seller has an email list, and if they do, it's not always actively engaged. So that's good to hear that you have that for this business.
Yeah, so we have a promo plan, and we both all the partners approve it every month, and we doesn't take so long to make, and we know exactly at which point we're going to do which advertising, which product we're going to promote. We always ready for Mother's Day and Valentine's and so on and so forth.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay, so we're kind of getting into this next question here about the work required. It sounds like you have a lot of your promotions automated. So, can you discuss or describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business for maintenance?
Yeah, so the bottom line is maintenance doesn't take so long. I would say that operation is maximum 1 hour a day, and marketing is about 1 hour a day, and the rest is pretty much done automatically. The rest is whatever you want to invest. Marketing is an endless pool of ideas that you constantly can try and create and measure and do more stuff, but the maintenance is pretty much straightforward and short. We built everything that we're using in-house with zero maintenance in mind. So we don't want to deal with this in the future or as little as possible. One of the main things that we built is a system that takes orders from all of our channels, whether it's Amazon FBA, FBM, it's Shopify, Wish, eBay, any channel, you name it. It takes all the orders and it sends it to be fulfilled automatically in one of the 3PLs that we work with. So we work with the Amazon FBA and with Deliver Warehouse and with Walmart with WFS, and we were able to basically streamline automatically all the orders to be fulfilled. And this system is operating based on rules. So you have a dashboard that you can configure the rules over there, no development required. I actually don't recall ever having to deal with this system on a technical aspect of something wrong and so on. You define based on inventory, if you have too much inventory in one warehouse and you want to get it faster, so you would ship the orders of this item from there based on fulfillment costs, based on the items itself. The system allows you to create virtual bundles. For example, customer can order what we advertise as a bundle and it's actually shipped in one or two separate orders, but as a separate product. The system does this automatically, also protects us from out of stock, protects us from fraudulent orders, orders, and so on and so forth. It may sound a little bit complex, but it actually made our life so simple that it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think it definitely was worth mentioning this because hearing how omnichannel this business is with, I think it was 6 different selling channels, common question would be how much involvement will there be for a new buyer? Will this essentially become a full-time job for somebody having to manage these different accounts? But what you're saying is that you have this software, this system that pretty much automates all of that. And not only automates that, but it also helps to prevent additional things such as fraudulent orders. It helps you to avoid stocking out with each specific channel. So sounds like you have a pretty powerful system here, not only to solve just the baseline needs for inventory management, but to also improve this process in many other ways.
I think that every business should aspire to automate as much of the day-to-day maintenance that it has, any business in any vertical, in any industry, and focus on development constantly and all the time. This is the only way to survive and grow, and we put a lot of focus on that.
Got it. Well, speaking of growing, let's talk about the opportunities for this business. So, if you were to keep the business, what are some ways you would try to grow it?
Okay, so the way we built the business, we built it in the beauty industry, but we also focus on 4 different sub niches. We don't have a lot of products in each of these sub niches, but all 4 are very big and we have planted the seeds already. So you can consider that we have 4 different types of products, and the obvious next move is to simply enhance the selection, the portfolio of each and every sub niche of these 4, and thus to grow the amount of product. Basically, the business needs to double the amount of product that it has at this point. And I think that's pretty much straightforward and it will bring a lot of value to the business. The second thing is obviously brick and mortar, and specifically for our business, also wholesale and salons and spa. We never focused on that because there's so much opportunity in the e-commerce, but I know that there are people, bigger buyers out there and bigger businesses that are already in place to have this done. And even thinking about it, one dedicated employee that actually contacts wholesale, spa, salons, and every day should make a serious impact on the business. Obviously, brick and mortar, a buyer that can enter into Walmart, for example. We never tried because we are aware of the production that is required in order to do something like that. But a buyer that can do that basically doubles the business value on a single day. Obviously, Europe and other territories, as I mentioned before. And, there are also endless opportunities with other sub-niche in the beauty. We were focusing on the brand. The brand is very strong. You were asking me before, what are things that didn't work for us? I can tell you what we learned. We learned that reviews and the power of social trust is so important in this business. And once you have it, you're pretty much a kind of a de facto. Every time you launch a product, you have some kind of a stamp, some kind of a guarantee. Yeah, this was done by these guys. They also produce other products. It's good. I can try it. As I said, creating new products, going into new territories, expand production significantly. Those are immediate opportunities for this business.
Got it. And that's really cool to hear about how you focused on solidifying the brand as the foundation. And it seems like all these opportunities that you have were born out of that, such as now you just need to create more product variations, or now you need to think about increasing your distribution through brick and mortar or other countries even. So it sounds like you have the foundation, and now it's just looking for somebody to harness that, as you had mentioned before, to take it to the next level.
Yes, it brings you, if you want, to a very interesting question. Like, if we would have done everything from scratch, would we have focused on Amazon in order to get rid of, I don't know, quotes, headache of other channels and all these efforts and all this branding that is required, or not? The added value on selling the business when you have a brand that is omnichannel, I'm not entirely sure if it justifies the effort that is required into building into these channels. But if we had to do it all over again, we would definitely focus on the brand all over again. It simply increases the chances of growth, the chances of success, the chances of longevity of this business. And I think it's very important. And every business that is solely Amazon should think about this.
Yep, absolutely. And actually, this leads perfectly into the next question, and we're kind of already talking about it right now. But what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Yeah, so you're right. We're about 67% dependent on Amazon as a sales channel. For others, it might seem like a lower number, but if we look on the business from a macro perspective, we would prefer not to have such a strong dependency on one single channel. So we work harder on other channels, and Amazon is still growing, thankfully. And we would want to see this number going slightly down in the future. A second risk, obviously, is the economic condition at the moment. We have a potential recession looming. So we see other sellers struggling with supply chain issues and increase in prices. We don't see those issues on our end because we produce in the US. I do think that in the medium long run, it may affect how much customers are willing to pay for their personal care. So it all depends on how severe will the recession be and how long will it be. Our job here is to do everything that we can in order to ensure that the business will survive and suffer less than any other competitor.
Yeah, I mean, with the talk of recession, I'm sure a lot of businesses are being impacted or are worried about how severely they will be impacted. So it's good to hear that you're already kind of addressing these proactively.
So yes, one example of thing that we did recently, we have a somewhat successful product in our portfolio. We started creating a smaller version for it because we may expect, based on previous recession in history, that customers may be needing smaller quantities and pay less. So we're already taking actions to increase our chances.
Yep. Well, that's great to hear. Well, last few questions here, just to wrap this up. How much support are you willing to offer a new buyer of this business?
We know the standard in the industry is 30 days. We are giving 60, no questions asked. I can tell you this much. We want to see this business grow. This is the main reason we sell it. And we want to be proud of it. And in 5 years, I want to see it on the shelves, on major department stores. And I want to tell whomever with me, hey, we launched this brand. We want to be proud. So if we need more than 60 days, we would not, hang up the phone on the buyer. We will be there for them. It has to make sense and be reasonable. I'm sure that Empire's buyers are pretty savvy, and I'm not too sure that they will even need 30 or 60 days, but just in case they do, we're here for them.
Perfect. All right. Next question is, would you commit to a non-compete on this business?
Yes, of course. If we were buying a business, we would expect the seller to not compete with us, and that's a leading principle.
Okay, sounds good. And are you open to something like an earnout?
We prefer a cash upfront on this deal. However, the hands of the right buyer, a performance-based earnout is definitely on the table. So what is a good buyer for us? A buyer that has some production, either facilities or networking that allows him to expand our production, or distribution. For example, if he's already inside Walmart and has the pockets to bring this brand in, we would be open to a performance-based earnout.
Perfect. So, putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Okay, so if I'm a specific buyer that has distribution already and production, that's exactly what I would look for. A business with strong branding that is small, that is managed by very few people. It's only the three of us, basically, and some four part time employees in the Philippines. And this kind of buyer can see this business and be happy to pay the price that we request. And he knows that in his hand, the value of this business is double on day one. This would be a typical buyer that we think that should take over this business. If I'm in a shoe of a buyer and below me I have two businesses, right? One of them lacks the features but is priced mid-range, and the other one has all the features and is priced premium. I would take the premium. We already learned that if you want good quality, you need to spend more.
Yeah, and that's helpful for you to define the specific type of buyer that would be a best match for this business. There are various kinds of buyers, some with more experience, some with less, some that are coming into this with more capital or the operational infrastructure. So it seems like this business in particular, as you just mentioned, could potentially be even doubled overnight with the proper infrastructure in place.
I completely agree with you saying.
Got it. Okay. Well, last question, if it is relevant here. Is there anything you'd like to add that you think I might have missed during this interview?
I think we pretty much covered everything. You've been very thorough.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up here then. So, Eran, thank you so much for sharing your story and joining us on today's episode. And yeah, I hope your business is purchased in the near future and by the perfect buyer.
Again, thanks for having me, and thank you for the talk and your patience, and good luck to all other businesses out there, and you all take care.
Thanks, Eran. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 60823. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.